Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the shop. So this panel cured last weekend, and from my point of view and your point of view now, it looks pretty doggone flat. Looks pretty good. The old weight trick seems to have worked. There's no bubbles that I can see, so that's good. I think it's time to cut it. So I'm going to set up some sawhorses and do some cutting. Let's do it. All right, so those came out pretty good. You can see I cut those. Although on this corner, I got a part that, you can see on the bottom side, there's foam stuck to the skin, but I think maybe it just there's a spot that just didn't get wet enough underneath there. So I'm gonna mix up some epoxy and I'm gonna fix that. And this is the pantry wall, so I'm gonna fix that and let that set up. I'll probably just set it outside in the heat so it'll cure faster, and I'm gonna work on the rear shelf for a little while. So yeah, that's, and you can see in this panel, I think, so there's a couple of maybe on the other side. Yeah, you can see, let me get my camera back on here. You can see there's a couple little air bubbles here and there. I think it's, in my opinion, it's nearly impossible to not get an air bubble with thinner skin like this. So anyway, it is what it is, and I think the panels are still pretty doggone strong, so I'm not worried about it. So anyway, I'm gonna glue this corner and then start working on getting the shelf glued in. So while I'm waiting for epoxy to dry, I made some little metal pieces. So along the bottom edge of the walls here, the edge of the skin is actually exposed, and I didn't really think about that before. I thought that, anyway, I didn't think about it before. So I decided I'm going to make some of these. These are just 1 by 1 by 18 gauge that I'm going to put on either side. You can see I've used the Whitney punch to put holes in them. So those are going to get glued and pop riveted to the bottom edge. I don't know what I'm going to do around the fender wells yet, because there's curves in that, and this stuff will not bend around those curves. So I don't know what I'm going to do there yet, but I'll figure something out. So I'm going to get these put on, and I'm not painting these because from like here down, the whole thing's getting raptor lined from there down, and then the fender wells on the bottom edge of the walls too. So anyway, I'm not going to paint them. I'm not worried about any kind of rust or anything, because they'll be completely encapsulated with raptor liner, so should be okay. Anyway, I'm gonna get these put on. All right, I got my protection angles on the bottom down here. That was kind of a pain in the ass. You know when you're drilling something and all the hot shavings drop onto your arm? Yeah, that was pretty much all of this. So you can see I got a little messy with the adhesive here and there, but it doesn't matter. It's all going to be covered with raptor liner. So anyway, and I did rivets on 3 inches on center underneath, all the way down, which is probably overkill, but what's another few rivets, right? So one side done. Got to do the other side. Still don't know what I'm going to do about the fender wells. I got to think about that for a little bit. But anyway, that part's done. All right, it's the next day. I stopped recording yesterday because it was hot and I was really tired when I was done. So anyway, so you saw these angles on the bottom here. Got this side done and I got this side done. So those are taken care of, which is nice. I think I thought about it a little bit, and I think I'm going to try to do aluminum around these. I'm going to go buy some like 1x1 aluminum, and then I'm going to trim one side down to like a 1/2 inch, and then try heat bending the angle and bend it around there. That's what I did with those pieces. If you remember, I used heat to bend those, and that seemed to work pretty good because the heating it up with propane or MAP gas anneals the aluminum and makes it a little bit softer too. So I'm going to give it a shot and see. Hopefully that works. If not, then I'll have to find some kind of a, I don't know, flexible mold or something to put on there after the Raptor liner's on. So anyway, project for another day. Let's look at this. Hey, rear shelf is mocked up, and I decided to, because on the front I cut the center dividers out. On the back I wanted that piece, since it's such a small piece, I wanted to retain a little bit of rigidity in the middle, and so I left this as 2 openings instead of just 1. So and here you can see I got made some little handy dandy clampy do holder things to be able to grip on the outside and not damage the edge and be able to pull straight. So seems to be working so far, which is good. So I think I'm going to try and get this rear shelf glued in today. One thing I am going to do on this front edge, so on the front edge of the shelf right there, I think I'm going to come back with a, because that's just a raw fiberglass edge across there and I can't leave that exposed. So I think I'm going to come back and do, get some 1x1 or 3/4 by 3/4, 1/2 by 1/2, some kind of aluminum angle, like 1/8 inch thick, and do an aluminum angle across all that. And that'll clean that up pretty nice. I'm going to have to do the same thing when I do the pantry as well, like the top edge of the pantry, and then there's part of the front area here that I don't quite have figured out yet, but I'm going to have to put either aluminum or something on that edge to cover up those raw fiberglass edges too. So we'll see. It may be aluminum angle, it may be something else, I don't know. So anyway, mock-up stage for the rear shelf. All right, well, it's later in the day. I started to record some of this, but the old battery died. I didn't check the level before I started, and I couldn't stop because I didn't want the Terracin to skin over while I was swapping batteries and dorking around with that. So the rear shelf is glued in, and my glue job is quite sloppy, as you can see, but it is all glued in and all riveted in, and I'm almost ran out of rivets again. Luckily I found a box of these shorties, these like 1/2 inchers. I was able to finish what I was doing with the short ones, but need to order more, which means I've now gone through 10 boxes of rivets, which means there's over 1,000 rivets in this thing now. So I'll order a couple more boxes because I got a few more to do. So anyway, rear shelf, check that off the list. It's looking pretty good, and it has stiffened this back up quite a bit just with having those two panels in. So once the rear panel is on, the roof is on, I mean, this thing's going to be pretty rock solid. So anyway, next item is the pantry. So I've got the vertical wall that goes there, and then the horizontal wall that goes on that angle there, or horizontal wall, the horizontal piece that goes on that wall. I'm gonna 45 cut both of those like I did the shelf. And actually there's those two pieces, that one and this long one here. Those are the pantry pieces, but I was worn out, so I just got the rear shelf done and decided to go inside and take it easy and have some tacos for dinner. So anyway, that's it for this weekend. I got quite a bit done. I'm happy with the progress this weekend. So remember to share this with anybody you think would be interested in it, and I appreciate everybody watching, and I'll see you guys next time.